So, how many of you have already selected sociology as optional? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any doubt and dilemma? No dilemma. Pakka? How many of you have the background of sociology? So, three persons. Okay, so I think for these three people, there should not be any doubt. Anyone who has science background? So, only one person, science background. Two. What have you done? क्या किया है? अच्छा, फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री बायोलॉजी. और तुमने? पीसीएम ग्रेजुएशन में. अच्छा, अभी ग्रेजुएशन में हैं आप लोग, सब लोग फाउंडेशन कोर्स प्रिपरेशन के लिए आए हुए हैं. तो जिन लोगों ने सोशियोलॉजी लिया, दोज हु हैव टेकन सोशियोलॉजी, कैन यू गिव मी द रीजन अदर देन दोज हु हैव द बैकग्राउंड ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी? व्हाट्स योर बैकग्राउंड? कॉमर्स. सो यू टुक सोशियोलॉजी. व्हाई? You find it more interesting. Any other reason for selecting sociology as an optional? Okay. So you want to say that sociology contributes in GS. What do you think about political science? Does it contribute? Geography, history? Interdisciplinary, it is interdisciplinary subject. Have you ever used physics in sociology? No. We'll learn that also. We'll use physics, biology in sociology. In fact, all the disciplines, when they start, they have an isolationist approach. जब कोई भी subject existence में आता है, when economics came, anybody having economics as background? You. So, study of wealth. Adam Smith said, and for him, culture, state, family, religion doesn't have any impact on economy. Originally, right? So, whenever a subject comes into existence, it takes an extremist view. But later on, it realizes that such extremist view is not going to take you to any proper conclusion. So, what happens? We start moving towards interdisciplinary approach. So, in natural science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, they all are required, right? Similarly, here, political science, sociology, psychology, they are also interrelated. That's why we have political sociology, economic sociology, we have social psychology, etc., etc. These terms are there. So, what I said that there are certain subjects when you say sociology, political science, or public administration, to a greater extent, political science, geography, and history, they have large contribution in GS, right? Similarly, economics has contribution in GS, but usually even people from economic background, they don't take economics. Why? No, come out loudly a bit. Okay, economy takes longest to understand and sociology takes? No. Sociology is science of society, and science says intuition should not have any contribution in the acquisition of knowledge. Right? So you have to keep intuition away from your analysis, your description. What you have to do, you have to approach scientifically. Because intuition for different people would be different. अब हम यहाँ पे 25-30 आदमी बैठे हुए हैं, सब अलग अलग बोलेंगे, तो फिर फायदा क्या होगा उस नॉलेज का? Right? So intuition we have to reduce. Complete elimination is impossible, but we have to reduce. One thing is that economics, the number of people who appear with economics, they are very few, right? And therefore, you don't get professional guidance properly because it becomes economically unviable. Okay? If overall 100 people are appearing with economics or 1000 people throughout the India are appearing with economics, right? So you can understand how many students would be there in a class, right? I come from 30-kilometer distance, so even the commutation charge would not be covered in that, right? So that is the reason that people don't take economics. Social science background students cannot take natural science as optional, but natural science students, physics, chemistry, engineering, they take sociology. So particularly there are few subjects which are popular: sociology, public administration, political science, history, geography, and social anthropology. So almost 95% of 90 to 95% of the people who appear in civil services examination, they select one of these. And as far as she said that contribution in GS, so all have contribution, right? The only thing is that Indian society and social justice is late entrant. It has been recently included in syllabus 5-10 years back, right? Economics, geography, history, political science, it was there since civil services as an exam was being conducted, right? So when you talk about the questions on Indian society and social justice, you find it difficult. People from other, with other optional, they find it a bit difficult. And you'll find that even in GS classes, people don't cover in that comprehensive way, right? This particular topic. So this is the advantage, right? It is late, new entrant. So sufficient material is not there, understanding is not there, guidelines is not there. When you opt for sociology, definitely it helps you a lot, right? And secondly, sociology, every year we have one topic on essay on social issues, so that also gets covered. So this is the advantage, you can say. Anyone who chose because short syllabus, scoring marks, scoring, okay. So this is the first time I'm getting no response from this, that it is scoring or it has short syllabus, right? Students are scoring, subject is not scoring. If you work, if you fulfill the demand of the subject, then you will be getting good score. If you don't fulfill the demand of the subject, you are not going to get good score. So you have to commit yourself to the subject. You have to commit yourself to the subject. Now there are many people who are in dilemma. Should I go with sociology or not? Should I go with economics or should I go with political science? Right? There is no rational, or you can say objective way to select an option. Are you understanding objective? Right? There is no objective way to select an optional. It has subjective orientation. Right? Now, so what happens before coming to this conclusion? We take various bases. For example, you did not say, but some people say, sir, syllabus is short, right? So I do ask, have you measured it with scale, right? 6 inch, 12 inch, right? Scoring, there are many people who are very poor performer in sociology, right? So there are people who are very good performer. There are people who are very good performer. I have a long history of giving success to students. So you'll find in Anu Kumari, second ranker, she was my student. Gamini Singla, 2021, she was also my crash course cum test series student. So they have scored very well. But why? Because they fulfilled the demand. Right? So you have to fulfill the demand. For that, you have to know the character of the subject. What is its demand? Right? This demand, we can say, I can simply classify any subject into two categories. One is quantitative, another is qualitative. Quantitative, simple meaning volume, right? Qualitative means less volume, right? So, if a discipline belongs to quantitative category, the study material runs into thousand pages. Suppose if you say history, right? And history syllabus is covered in 2000 pages. I am just presuming approximately 2000 pages. Sociology syllabus would require 500 to 800 pages. The volume is less. If the volume is less means it's not easy. Here what is more important is understanding, right? This is concept based. If I speak in very simple language, कुछ सब्जेक्ट रटने वाले होते हैं, कुछ सब्जेक्ट समझने वाले होते हैं. There are subjects which require a lot of rote learning. There are subjects which does not require rote learning, rather they require understanding, right? If I keep history in the category, you can say memorization, right? To an extent, I don't want to demean history as a subject. To an extent, rote learning is required. To an extent, right? That doesn't mean sociology doesn't have a role for memory. Memory, it plays role. Here it is 80-20. Here it is 30-70. 70 understanding, 30 memorizing. Here 80 memorizing, 20 understanding. Right? So how many of you are interested, those who have not still selected, in understanding or concept based subject? किसको याद करना अच्छा लगता है और किसको समझना अच्छा लगता है? समझना अच्छा लगता है और किसी को समझना अच्छा लगता हो? Okay, so those who are interested not in rote learning but interested in understanding the concept, for them this subject is suitable, right? Your interest is based on that. When you say I find interest in this subject, this interest is because of your orientation. Are you getting it? Right? So there are different way: short syllabus, long syllabus, scoring, not scoring. This year, XYZ, she topped with sociology optional. So I will also take sociology. One of my friend who or senior who qualified, he qualified with sociology. So I will also take sociology, right? I asked my teacher, I asked my parent, I asked colleagues, etc., etc. You have talked to many people, right? You put that interest factor also. When I read a few uh, paragraph or sociology, I find interesting, right? Perhaps you have read NCRT, you have not read TV Bottomer. If you read first TV Bottomer, you will never take sociology, right? So every subject has its own problem, its own limitation, right? So based on various factors, we take a decision. Let us assume that you have taken this decision that I am going with sociology, right? You have taken time, you have consulted many things, you have taken 15 days, 1 month, whatever may be, right? And you have come to this conclusion that I am going with sociology. Once you have decided, after that, don't vacillate. I always compare it with Hindu marriage system. Before marriage, you can assess, should I marry to a beautiful girl? Should I marry to educated girl? Should I marry a tall, dark, handsome boy? Right? Should I marry a person who is earning too much? Right? Should I marry a girl whose family is giving me more dowry? XYZ, right? But once you are married, there is no concept of divorce. As per Hindu scriptures, not I am talking about the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. As per Hindu scriptures, Hindu culture, there is no concept of divorce in Hindus. You have to adopt that approach. Once you have selected this optional, you will face problem, you will face difficulty, right? But your approach should be, I along with Praveen Kishore sir would overcome that difficulty. My name is Praveen Kishore, you know? Okay, that's good. So this should be the approach, right? Don't consider civil services as easy, sociology as easy. Easier is the subject, the so-called. Easier is the subject, difficult is competition. And the subject can be easy, but our competition civil services is very tough. So these things you have to keep in your mind. It's not a cakewalk, right? Second thing, मेरे पढ़ाने से बहुत कुछ नहीं होता है, राइट? आपके पढ़ने से बहुत कुछ होता है. If I give lecture here, right, and you don't do the self study, then that lecture doesn't have any importance. So once we have selected any optional, in our case sociology, right, then after that there should not be any doubt in your mind, any dilemma in our mind whether I have selected a right optional or wrong optional, right? Interest, it's a very important thing, right? You said interest, right? When can you find interest in a subject?
You start connecting with the subject.
You start connecting. You don't connect with physics, chemistry? No? You're using iPhone? without physics and chemistry. Is that possible? Biology, you do get sick, right? You go to the doctor, you get connected, right? You know money is very important. So economics, you get connected, right? So all these subjects, they have certain connection. अगर connection नहीं होगा तो हम क्यों पढ़ेंगे, effort लगाएंगे? So every subject has its practical importance. We have connection with each and every subject, right? So that's, it's your subjective orientation, you feel. Any other thing? इंटरेस्ट तभी आएगा जब आपको समझ में आएगा. Interest generated when you understand, right? और समझ में कब आएगा? हैं? क्या क्या? हाँ बोलो बोलो, थोड़ा सा हंसी भी चलना चाहिए. टीचर अच्छा होता, मतलब टीचर पहले है या स्टूडेंट पहले है? कांस्टेंट इंटरप्ले विथ ईच अदर. व्हेन यू स्टडी, ट्राई टू ओवरकम the doubts. You read a paragraph, you did not understand, and then you moved from sociology to psychology. Again, you read a paragraph in psychology, you did not understand, you moved to economics, and you are in further more problem, right? Then physics, chemistry, biology, X, Y, Z. What is the issue here? If you have read a paragraph and you are finding it difficult to understand, try to put more effort to understand it. And in this understanding, teacher plays a role, right? If you read hard, if you commit to the subject, you will understand. When you understand, you will develop interest. When you develop interest, you will read again hard. So they are in a cycle. They are in constant interplay with each other, right? Later on, we'll be reading G.H. Mead, Generation of Self. But it says self and society is twin bond. I think sociology students must be knowing. Self and society is twin bond. Means self gives rise to society, society in turn gives rise to self. Society self shapes self, and self shapes society. So it is in constant interplay, right? So take your time, decide about the subject. Once you have decided, then commit to it, dedicate to it. You come across a problem, try to overcome that, and in overcoming the problem, I am with you. Besides teaching detailed syllabus, I am with you when you study, come with the problem, and will resolve it. Right? Okay, so we have, I think, 1 hour time. Now the question is, what are the study material that we have to refer? What are the things that we are going to read, right? Paper 1. %80 of the syllabus is covered by one book. Sociology, themes and perspective, right? And this book has two editions. One is by Haralambos and Heald, right? The another is by Haralambos and Holborn, right? ये फेमस है ऑरेंज वाला से, नारंगी कलर का इसका कवर है. So when you go to the bookshop, he'll be asking blue wala or orange wala, right? It's old, it's new edition, right? It's small, it's very voluminous, right? So what we'll do, we'll use it as textbook. Textbook means page on page, line by line, right? This as a reference book. If questions are there, certain issues are there which are not covered, they will use it. लाइब्रेरी जाते हैं ना पढ़ने के लिए, लाइब्रेरी होता है. यहाँ पे लाइब्रेरी का कंसेप्ट दूसरा है. हमारे समय में लाइब्रेरी में बुक्स होती थी, राइट? सो व्हाट वी यूज्ड टू डू, टेक्स्ट बुक वी यूज्ड टू कीप एट होम, right? We used to read it. And when we have to further improvise and improve our knowledge to tackle the questions that are coming, right? We used to go library, fetch the books. वहां बुक खोजना सबसे बड़ा इशू है, क्या पढ़ें, right? So it takes a lot of time to identify that this book I am going to read, and in that book I'll be getting what I am requiring right now, right? So we'll be using this as reference book and this as textbook, right? There's another general recommendation, thinkers, right? Thinkers. There are many books, but popular book is by Ridger, George Ridger. George Ridger. Now, in this book also thinkers are covered. Majority of the thinkers are covered in this book. So, what is the difference between the two? Right? Suppose you are talking about Karl Marx. Right? In Harlambus book, you will find Karl Marx in packet form. What Marx had to say on religion, you will find in religion chapter. What Marx had to say on state, you will find in polity chapter. What Marx had to say about family in family chapter. So at one place you don't get the overall contribution of Marx in continuity, right? When you read these thinkers book, you get all of the theories or contribution of Marx in one chapter, right? So here what happens, continuity breaks, here continuity is maintained. But these books, their language is difficult, so you have to take help of both these and this, right? Primary this book, then we have to take the help of this if we find certain difficulty in understanding the concept. right? After this, as I said, 80% of the syllabus is covered. For 20%, we have to have many other reference books. One is methods of data collection or research method, right? I'll be telling you the book that is to be used for research method. So these are three, the prime books for first paper, right? Sufficient? Not sufficient. Nothing is sufficient for civil services. Nothing is sufficient for civil services. You have to know everything above the earth, on the earth, below the earth. Right? Nowadays in deep sky also. Right? So these will cover, and after that, it depends on your exploratory approach. आप कितना खोजी हैं? कुछ खोज के तो हम बता देते हैं, लेकिन हम जो खोज के बताते हैं वो सबको बता देते हैं, सबको पता चल जाता है. आप कुछ एक्स्ट्रा नहीं खोजोगे तो आपको नंबर क्यों मिलेगा? If each of you write the same thing which I say, why X will get more marks than Y? So always you have to maintain curiosity to know more. अगर नेशनल हॉबी पूरा करने आए हैं तब तो कोई बात नहीं है, बट इफ यू हैव टू बी सक्सेसफुल देन मेंटेन curiosity to know. Keep on exploring. Right? We do give around 95%, 90 to 95%. But selection occurs because of those only 5%. On 1 marks and 2 marks, you are selected or you are not selected. So this you have to maintain always. Keep your eyes and ear open all the time. Be ready to read anything that comes to you within with if you have the time, because time is a very important problem in the preparation for civil services, right? So whenever you have time, you explore, change your habit, right? फिल्मी दुनिया पढ़ने की जगह पे जो है अच्छा मैगजीन पढ़े. आजकल तो यूट्यूब आ गया है, बट ऑन यूट्यूब ऑल्सो यू हैव different types of videos. So you have to be selective which video is useful for you, which is not useful for you, right? So are you understanding it? मैं हूं, मैं पढ़ाऊंगा, आप पढ़ोगे. I'll cover a lot, right? But selection would be based on a bit extra effort that you would put in your study. अगर मुझे भगवान मानोगे सिलेक्शन कभी नहीं होगा, अगर मुझे गाइड मानोगे सिलेक्शन होगा. ठीक है? एंड डोंट फॉल प्रे टू दोज पीपुल. मेरा नोट्स पढ़ लो, जैसे इधर से आलू डाला, इधर से सोना, तो इधर से 55,000 रुपया 60,000 रुपया डाला, ठीक है, और उधर से IAS निकला. ऐसा कोई भी जो है, देयर इज नो सच वे, राइट? सो डोंट फॉल प्रे टू दोज commercial gimmicks, right? We are sitting in the market right now. We are in the capitalist economy. We are sitting in a market. So there would be scrupulous element, there would be unscrupulous element. There would be people who will say, you come to me and after 3 months you become IS, right? Many people ask me, sir, how much time it will take? to cover. See, I will take around 5 months. I will take around 5 months. But you see, Sakti Dubey, this year toppers, she qualified in fifth attempt. So it depends on the individual. There are people who qualify in first attempt, like Anu Kumari had qualified in first attempt. Actually, technically, it was second attempt because he thought in 2016 February March that I will prepare. She was working in Max Insurance at Pune, right? She left the job and then she started preparing. So she appeared in the prelims in 2 months, so she did not qualify. Right? You might be knowing she had a 2.5 year child also. Right? Vivan. His name is Vivan. Right? So these things, so she qualified in first attempt. So it depends on you, right? Whether you are covering something within 5 months or you are taking 5 years. Right? Nowadays, this online and what happens, recorded videos, right? So when the class starts, the class is full, more than 100 students are there, right? But after few classes, students attendance starts reducing. So at the most 50% is attendance, and 50% people say मैं घर पे ही देख लेता हूँ सर. अच्छा, घर पे भी एक बार में नहीं देखते, ठीक है? 15 मिनट देखा, अरे यार बोर हो गया, चलो घूम के आते हैं, तब तक 15 मिनट वाला भूल गए, right? So one lecture of 2.5 hours, they take 5 to 6 sittings. Meaning what? You are not focused. You are taking it easy. The ambience that you get in the class, the pressure that you feel in the class, that you don't feel when you watch the recorded lectures. You can't ask questions from your teacher. Here, if you have a doubt, right, you can ask. My classes would be two-way, not one-way. It won't be monologue, it will be dialogue. आपको मुझे इंस्टिगेट करना है पढ़ाने के लिए. आप नहीं कुछ बोलोगे तो मैं पढ़ा ही नहीं पाऊंगा. Right? So you have to ask the questions and you have to instigate me to elaborate the things. So that is another advantage. Next is there is a continuity. There is continuity because in 5 months the class would be over, right? After that I will not be there. So you will be completing the things in 5 months. When you watch recorded lecture, right, then अरे 3 साल पढ़ा हुआ है नहीं, पूरी गर्मी की छुट्टी है, होमवर्क है, अभी तो 1 month is left, and generally people do the homework in last few days, right? They don't start doing it, right? So continuity would be maintained, right? You will be focused, your understanding would be better if you attend the classes, right? Now we talk about second paper. This first paper, when I teach, I'll be taking around 3 or 3.5 months to teach first paper because it is concept based. And in first paper, wherever it is possible, I'll be covering related second paper. So in these 3.5 months, a number of portions of the second paper would be covered in this, right? 1 or 1.5 month second paper, 1.5 months, right? Second paper is more voluminous. Second paper is, it talks about volume. You won't get a single or two books where you can cover the whole of the syllabus of second paper. You have to expand horizontally. There are number, right now I don't want to tell name of books, otherwise you will flee away from here. Sir, इतना पढ़ना पड़ेगा? You have to be exploratory. Explore करना पड़ेगा, right? For the time being, you can BA IGNOU second paper. You can read from this, right? Besides, I have my own study material which I will be putting in electronic format. We'll be creating a Telegram channel, right? And whatever I'm preparing, updated study material, that would be uploaded on that, right? Brief on each and every topic, not each and every topic, but a number of topic. Brief description would also be given, right? Means you have to be quite vigilant in second paper because things are quite wide. Right? For the time being, till the class starts, you can start reading a book, Caste in India and Other Essays by M.N. Srinivas. The easiest book that I am saying. Either you read from the IGNOU also you can do, right? This is a book which uh, language is very easy. So you'll find entering into the subject, right? There are books, there are authors like Y. Singh, Yogendra Singh. They write in very complex language, right? So unless until I teach, understanding them would be difficult, right? For example, he has written a book called Modernization of Indian Tradition, right? And its first and seventh chapter is mandatory. First and seventh chapter is mandatory, right? All those other things, books, I'll be telling the name of the books, right? Whenever I'm teaching a concept, I'll be telling you the name of the book from which I have read. And I don't teach from substandard books. Himalaya publication, Vikas publication, Gupta publication, Singh publication, right? No. First I decide about which are reputed publishers, where information is authentic, right? So I'll be referring to the name of the author, the name of the book and author from which, right? I don't want you to blindly believe in me. If you have doubt, scrutiny me also. Okay? So you have to do that also. So these are the things about orientation. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me.
What is sociology?
What is sociology? Okay. Do you know what is science?
Yeah.
What is science?
So natural नेचुरल फिनोमिनन हो रहे हैं उन्हीं के बारे में हमें पढ़ना होता है।
तो सोसाइटी नेचुरल फिनोमिना है या कुछ और है?
अब सोसाइटी में क्या पढ़ना है वो पूछ रहा हूँ
सोसाइटी में क्या क्या है?
सर। हम लोग की सोसाइटी है लाइक कंप्लीटली।
हॉस्टल में रहे हो कभी?
सर अभी तक तो नहीं।
अभी तक कोई हॉस्टल में रहा है? ठीक है, मेनी पीपल हैव राइट। आई विल टेल यू अ स्टोरी ऑफ माइन। I was born in Bihar. Up to 10th, studied and brought up in Bihar. For 11th, I came to Lucknow Christian Inter College. Right. So from my districts, there were several students, and we were living in hostel. Right. There was a train called Vaisali Express. It is still there. Right. That was the train which used to connect us with Lucknow. And the train was Muzaffarpur station. From there to 30 or 40 at that time. It's I think 40 years back, right? Was the time, and we used to reach Lucknow station, Charbagh station at around 10:30 to 11, right? So when we were coming after holidays, when we were coming to college, right? Generally people don't come together. एक दो लोग साथ में आ जाएं तो आ जाएं, हर किसी की अपनी प्रायोरिटी होती है, आज चलें कल चलें ऐसे. We'll go by this train, we'll go by that train, it is suitable for me. So generally we started individually, right? After 8 p.m. it is said in sleeper class, now this is time to sleep. Those who do not have the confirmed reservation, they are not allowed to enter even during daytime. But anyway, it's a norm, right? People enter, and those who have confirmed reservation, they allow also, right? So we, when used to enter, then we used to request, right? अंकल थोड़ा जगह दे दो, भैया थोड़ा जगह दे दो, दादी बैठा लो, मामा बैठा लो, चाचा बैठा लो, etc. etc. Somehow in a requesting mood, right? So small place, I'll sit here, I will not disturb you, etc. etc. So quite gentle men we were, right? After 8 p.m. also we'll keep on requesting. Somehow some good Samaritan person would say okay, because we were in 11th 12th, you are hardly 15 16 years old, so they pitied us and they allowed us, right? So this is the situation. When we were coming back after holiday, generally we come at one time. आज छुट्टी हो गई, सब लोग एक साथ भागते हैं घर, right? So we started, and the train was at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, right? So we used to enter till 6, we were not disturbing anybody. But the moment it was 6, we used to say सोने का टाइम खत्म हो गया, बैठने का टाइम शुरू हो गया, right? And we did not let people sleep. Now definitely it was illegal, but we did it. Can you think why we behaved differently when we were going to college and we were coming back to college from college?
There was a sense of community which was giving you backing.
Right? When you were going alone. But when you are coming back, you are coming in a group. So group does have influence on your behavior. In sociology, we do read what is the effect of group. Society is also a group, right? What is the effect of society on our behavior? How society shapes our behavior, right? We study that in a scientific way. That's why you say sociology is scientific study of society. राइट, क्या नाम हुआ तुम्हारा? अभिषेक सिंह। पता है साइंस क्या होता है?
Yes, sir. Study of natural phenomena occurring around us.
अरे तो फिर सोशियोलॉजी नेचुरल फिनोमेना तो नहीं है?
Science is something which can be proven with experiment.
Proven with experiment. Okay, let us prove. What is the color of this wall? Gray. Any other opinion? किसी का कोई दूसरा ओपिनियन है? नहीं है? Prove? Okay. Let us assume that you had never been into this class before, right? First time you are entering. Instead of white tube light, red tube lights are there. Will you see gray or something else? What is the color of this? It's very difficult to prove. यही मैं बताऊंगा साइंस क्या है, right? To explain what is science, we need 2 hours and more than that to explain. Sociology as a science is a topic in our syllabus, right? And it will take around 25 hours to discuss that. तो कहने में बड़ा अच्छा लगता है। मैं पूछता हूँ व्हाट इज साइंस, जनरली पीपल से सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी ऑफ ए साइंस, सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी ऑफ सब्जेक्ट मैटर इज साइंस। All religious texts are also systematic. Are they science? So everything that is systematic is not science, but science is always systematic. So science is not simply systematic study of society. Means systematic study of subject matter. We have to further explore that, right? अभी आपकी समझ में नहीं आएगा, ठीक है, थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा उसको, तो देखेंगे बाद में what is science, ठीक है. Those who have science background, they also would not be able to explain what is science. वो भी वही बोलेंगे systematic study of society, ठीक है. तो okay, we'll see the detail of the syllabus. My expectation from you would be the chapter that I am going to teach, at least give some reading. Give a reading before coming to class, right? So that you are not completely new to the topic, right? Anything else? और किसी की तरफ से कोई नहीं? अब क्या एनसीईआरटी? अब यही जो भगवान है यही है, ये वाले, ठीक है. Unnecessary will not go from book to book, right? I'll be telling you when I'm teaching a topic, a particular study material, I'll be telling you where you will get that, right? और कोई question? Any other question? No? Thank you. ठीक है, so we'll meet in the class. क्लास वहां बताएंगे कब से स्टार्ट होगी, ठीक है. All these decisions, administrative decision, they would take. मैं यहाँ सिर्फ सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ाऊंगा. My role starts when you have opted for sociology, not before that, right? Thank you.